One day, your cat will stop jumping onto the bed, not because it doesn't want to be close to you, but because it can't. One day, it won't follow you from room to room anymore, not because it stopped caring, but because every step costs more than it used to. And the hardest part is, this doesn't happen all at once. It happens slowly, quietly, so quietly that most people don't notice it until it's already too late. Because when your cat gets old, it doesn't ask for more. It asks for less. Less movement, less noise, less change. But what it needs from you becomes deeper than ever. And if you don't understand this, you might keep loving your cat in a way that no longer fits who they've become. Cats are built for survival, even when they're in pain, even when they're tired, even when their body is slowly failing. They hide it, not because they don't trust you, but because they were never meant to show weakness. So an old cat won't tell you, "I'm uncomfortable, I'm struggling, I need something different now." It will just change, subtly, quietly, and unless you know what to look for, you'll miss it. 1. They are not slowing down, their world is becoming louder. When your cat was young, the world felt manageable. Every sound had meaning, every movement had purpose, every moment could be responded to. But now, something has changed. The same house doesn't feel the same anymore. A door closing sounds sharper than it used to. Footsteps feel heavier. Unexpected movement feels closer. Not because the world changed, but because your cat did. What you don't see. As your cat ages, its senses stop filtering noise the same way. Its brain processes stimuli slower. Its ability to predict outcomes weakens. So what used to feel normal now feels unpredictable. Our old cat is not becoming distant. It is becoming more sensitive to instability. And that's why it withdraws. Not because it wants less of the world, but because the world has become harder to hold together. What it truly needs, not stimulation, not entertainment. It needs a world that feels quiet enough to understand again. 2. The pain you don't see is the one that matters most. Your cat doesn't tell you when it hurts. It doesn't limp dramatically. It doesn't cry. It doesn't ask for help. Instead, it adjusts. It jumps less, moves slower, stops going to certain places. And if you're not paying attention, you'll think, it's just getting older. But here's the truth. Aging is not neutral. It often comes with joint stiffness, chronic discomfort, subtle, constant pain. Your cat is not fine. It is coping, and coping looks calm from the outside. The quiet tragedy, the behaviors you stop noticing, are often the ones that mattered most. The jump it no longer makes, the place it no longer visits, the habit it quietly abandons. Each one is a message. What it needs, not sympathy, not pity. It needs someone who notices what is missing, because what disappears tells the real story. 3. Familiarity is no longer comfort, it is survival. When your cat was young, change was just part of life. New objects, new routines, new sounds. It adapted, quickly, effortlessly. But now, change feels different, heavier, slower, more confusing. What's happening internally? Your cat's brain is no longer processing the world as efficiently. New information takes longer to interpret. Adjustments take more energy. Uncertainty lasts longer. Familiarity is no longer preference. It is stability. And stability is what keeps your cat grounded. What you might not realize, something as small as moving furniture, changing feeding time, bringing new scents into the house, can feel like the world shifting under its feet. What it needs, not novelty, not variety. It needs a world that stays where it expects it to be. Because when the body becomes unreliable, the environment becomes everything. 4. They didn't become distant, the distance became too great. One day, your cat stops jumping onto your bed. Not dramatically, not suddenly. It just doesn't try anymore. And you might think it prefers sleeping somewhere else now. But that's not what happened. What actually happened The effort required became too high. The risk became too real. The cost of a failed jump became something its body didn't want to take anymore. Your cat didn't choose distance. Distance was forced onto it, and this is where people misunderstand. They wait. They expect the cat to come, but the cat is already trying. It just can't reach anymore. What it needs? Not space. Not independence. It needs in you to close the distance for it, because love didn't fade. Access did. 5. Their world is shrinking and you are becoming all of it. As your cat ages, its world gets smaller. Fewer movements, fewer locations, fewer experiences. It no longer explores the house the same way. No longer checks every corner. No longer moves just for curiosity. What this really means, your cat is not just moving less. It is experiencing less. Its world is no longer wide. It is concentrated, and inside that smaller world, every detail matters more. Where it sleeps, where it feels safe, where it recognizes something familiar, and most importantly, who is there, what it needs, not more space. It needs the space it still has to feel complete. And in that space, you become more important than ever. 6. Presence becomes the last language it understands. When your cat was young, love looked like movement, chasing, playing, reacting. Now, those things fade, and something quieter replaces them. What remains? Sitting near you, sleeping beside you, existing in the same space. Your cat doesn't need interaction anymore. It needs presence, not forced, not demanding, not constant, just there. Because at this stage, everything else becomes harder. Movement, reaction, engagement, but presence is still accessible. What it needs, not more doing. It needs you to slow down enough to exist beside it. 7. Time is quietly running out, even if you don't feel it. You live in years. Your cat doesn't. You think there's still time, but your cat is already at the edge of something. Not suddenly, not dramatically, but gradually. What changes? More sleeping, less interaction, slower responses. Time isn't stopping, it's narrowing. And the hardest part is, you don't feel it happening. But your cat does. Not as a thought, but as less energy, less reach, less ability to engage. What it needs, not urgency, not pressure. It needs moments that feel enough, quiet moments, safe moments, connected moments, because in the end, that's what its remaining time is made of. And when you look at all of this together, something becomes clear. Your cat is not asking for more effort. It's asking for a different kind of understanding. When your cat was young, love looked like activity, chasing, playing, running. Now, love looks different. It looks like slowing down, sitting closer, not asking too much. Your cat is not becoming less. It is becoming more fragile, more sensitive, more dependent on the world staying gentle. And in that world, you are the center, not because it needs you to survive, but because everything it still understands leads back to you, your voice, your scent, your presence. And even when its body starts to fail, even when it can't move the way it used to, even when it sleeps more than it's awake, that connection doesn't fade. It just becomes quieter. Your old cat doesn't need more from you. It needs something deeper, not more play, not more stimulation, but more patience, more awareness, more presence. Because in the final years of its life, what matters most is not how much you do, but how gently you exist beside it. One day, your cat won't be there anymore. Not suddenly, not loudly, but quietly. And when that day comes, you won't remember how many toys you bought. You'll remember how you showed up in those quiet moments. So if your cat is getting older, slow down, look closer, because what it needs now is not more time. It's the way you spend the time that's left